argument argues that through globalization and a rapid growth in technology, the world has become flat, or in other words, the playing field has flattened for world competitors. It illustrates this change through three levels of globalization, where nationalism, corporations, and the empowered individual contribute to the flattening of the world. The Vatican's flattening can best be viewed by seeing how it fits or does not fit into Friedman's levels of globalization. The church has existed long before globalization was even a word in the dictionary, and at that time, a hierarchical system that put the king at the top, the church below, and the pope at the head of the church was in agreement. When Columbus sailed in 1492, it was not just about trade, but to spread religion as well. Friedman said himself that religion was a unifying force pushing the world into globalization 1.0. So just as the world was thinking of knocking down their walls and building nations, they had a strong 0.5 nation, the church, setting a great example. While the world, according to Friedman, was moving into a new era in the 1800s, the Vatican was falling back, especially with the First Vatican Council in 1869. Papal infallibility, the Pope could do or say no wrong, came from this council and put more emphasis on hierarchy. So while the world was shifting into 2.0, the Vatican's stubbornness with change pushed it farther back. However, as the 2.0 world started to grow, some aspects were unavoidable. Corporations were the main flattening power in this era, so let's think of the Vatican as a corporation. While corporations were concerned about numbers with dollar signs attached, the Vatican was concerned about numbers with souls attached. The Vatican got its wealth from followers, and the head CEO calling the shots was the Pope. The church, just like other corporations, wanted to have the power to participate in society. However, while its power stems from individuals, it's not an individual religion. One must always go through the church in order to get to God. Also, just as corporations struggled with externalities, so did the Vatican, with scandals concerning the Vatican Bank, priestly pedophilia, and the Inquisition. By the 1950s, the church was becoming more of an international corporation, and in 1962, the church shifted into a new era with the Second Vatican Council, which allowed the Mass to be said in the vernacular. At the same time, it took away the unifying force of saying the Mass in Latin, but it was still a huge flattening force for the Vatican. Along with Vatican II, there was another great force pushing the Vatican closer to 3.0, which was the election of Pope Francis of Argentina in 2013. This was huge because it gave recognition to the internal demographics of the church. In fact, 42% of the world's Catholics are Latin American. Pope Francis is the first South American pope to be elected and the first non-European pope in the last 20 centuries, which is hinting at a shift in Eurocentric ideas. Not only is the world flattening, but so is the playing field for the papacy. Now someone from a developing country can become pope just as a black man can become president. Technology played a major role in the Vatican as well. While in the past the Vatican thought of technology as an opponent, Pope Francis has embraced it by creating a Twitter account. Now anyone all over the world with access to internet can access the Pope in a new way that's never been done before, simply by the click of a button. The new Pope has started to shift the Vatican towards 3.0 in many ways. In the 3.0 world, the empowered individual leads the world with strong influences from third world countries. Now the Vatican is letting the laity have more power, and even though Rome is the unifying center of Catholicism, the future of it lies in developing countries of Latin America, Asia, and Africa. While I do believe the Vatican is moving towards a flat state, I still think it is quite distant. In fact, I believe it is so distant that it will never happen, and that's perfectly fine. Friedman imagines this utopian society where everyone has a chance to compete in the world, but I don't believe this idea is very accurate because by taking away hierarchy, you take away some basic foundations of life. Humans rely on hierarchy and structure, and life without that would be chaos. The Vatican is a great example of this because it is literally founded on hierarchy and has existed for over 2,000 years. If you take away the church would not exist. So while the playing field in this world may continue to level, there will always be a podium to stand on. Therefore, I believe the Vatican in the world will never be completely flat, and that is how it's supposed to be. Besides, last time I checked, if you asked Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, or John Glenn,